So yesterday we have seen a couple of decision rules. Today we'll see these decision rules. So here, this decision table and decision tree both will be useful if you want to return something based on certain condition. But maybe let's take a simple example, like if the interest rate. I mean, if you want to return some interest values based on the account type. If account type is current value, current account, then so and so is the interest rate. There is savings account, so and so is the interest rates. It may be complex conditions. If you want to build a full structure kind of thing, if you're checking multiple conditions, you can do that. Both are same purpose only, but we have small difference between these two. Decision table is flexible, and decision table will be used only when all the conditions are checked against a single column. Let's say something like this. For example, I'm saying account type. So account type is my column, and here if conditions will be there, if structure will be like this, else if something like otherwise. So the account type is current account. So here return will be there. Return something like 7. The account type is savings account, else if return 8. Otherwise, let's say return 6. So here if you see each and every these are the conditions. Each and every condition is checked against a single column. So and that means that each condition here will be checked against a single. If you want to write one more condition, so you can write the one more condition. If you want, if this is the column 1. If you want to add one more column, you can add one more column. But again, so you want to add something like customer type. Okay. The customer type is gold and a current type I put in 7. So let's say for the customer type gold, for the savings account, I want to give different rating. Then you need to add one more entry here, something like this. Here you need to use current account again. Sorry. There will be let's say gold, bronze customer is there. For bronze again, you need to add bronze current account. That means that if you see here, where if you want to compare, I mean if you want to add two columns, with actually building a permutations combinations kind of thing. So gold customer, gold current account, gold savings account, gold some other account, bronze current account, bronze savings account. You are building actually a kind of permutations combination. So that many conditions are coming, right? So here the structure will become very large and it will be very difficult to maintain in this kind of decision table. Decision table is just like comparing column row combinations, I can say. So this is the row and this is the column, and this current account, I mean each condition. So this gold is, I mean in this row, in this column, whatever the columns are there, and all the values will be checked against a single condition called customer type, and all the values in this column will be checked against a single column called account type. So you cannot compare other values in this column. So that means that all the conditions will be checked against a single column. So and more this is flexible if the values are lesser, and if the we can go for up to 3 to 4 columns. Here I am using 2, so maximum we can go here is maximum 5. That is what Pega recommends. So I mean, if you, even if you go more than 5, system won't stop you, but it will become very difficult to maintain. Even for 2, 3, it will become very difficult. But up to 5 we can maintain. After that, it will become very difficult. So if you want to do the same thing in this in the decision tree is very flexible to build a complex structure. So decision tree will be useful to build a if-else structure, a complex if-else structure. So if you ask me the same thing, we can do something like this. If customer type equal to gold, if, and then I'm writing if. So internally I'm coming again if account type equal to gold, sorry, current account, return something, return 1, let's say. We can write one more condition like this, and then the same we can write if account type equal to saving return 2. So here you can see it is very flexible. I am not repeating the condition customer type goal again. So within the loop, within the if condition, within the if condition customer type goal, I am writing any number of conditions. But if you see this structure, you need to repeat the same columns, same combination again to build that one. So here decision tree will be useful if you want to build a if-else structure. If-else structure, decision table, say tabular structure. Tabular structure. So we will see here the system. And one more thing here is, let's say the same example. I mean, in this use case, in the warranty management use case, we don't have any complex scenarios. I mean, we don't have any we don't have any scenarios to use the complex decision table, decision trees. For that reason, just to showcase this one, so I will use this interest rates only, and then I will also show you our warranty expiration. That also I will build using the decision table. So here the one more benefit of using decision table and decision tree here is, let's say in future, so because these decision rules most of the times will be keep on changing. Will keep on changing based on the business circumstances. Let's say this example like account type. So today I am giving 7. After 3 months I may increase or I may decrease the interest rates. So for every 3 months banks will revise their interest rates. So if they are revising, definitely we need to update this decision table, right? And in that case, they do not want to depend on developers. So what they need to do? So the client will always look for the agility in the at runtime as well. So decision table will support that. We can directly enable editing the decision table in the production systems by the business users. We call them as a delegation. So delegation is the concept of giving access to business users to edit the values in production system. Most of the times they will be changing the decisioning roles. So we don't need to delegate all the roles. Wherever the decision is required, wherever business involvement is required to production system, we can delegate those roles here. Now we will see how to do in the system.
And yeah, before go to the system,
Yep.
Subhash, I have a query here.
Yep, go ahead.
Which is the most useful decision table in our Pega projects?
And the merge decision table means?
Which is the most useful one as compared to both the decision tree and the table?
No, I mean both are useful. That's what I am saying. You need to based on the complexity of the decisioning, we should use it. Here, I'm saying it's not like this is good, this is bad. Both are equivalently important.
What perspective I'm asking is, so delegation means, as you said, it's a this particular table access we will give it to business, right? So whenever it require, without build, without any further deployment, they could change the values in the production itself.
Correct. Decision tree also they can do. It's not only for decision.
Yeah, decision table, actually we are being used the decision table for SAP BPM and Excel sheet for the users. It's similar to Excel sheet, not as same as Excel sheet.
Exactly, it's similar to Excel sheet only.
But if you go for decision tree, so the escalation of this
that makes sense. So in that case, when you're having a option for, when you're thinking of delegating, we give labels. So generally, so if the customer types, generally property will be something like dot customer type something, right? But here some readable format. So if the customer type equal to gold, then so business can easily understand. They can read like sentences. We need to make the labels are readable. Then it is easy for the customers. So we can also delegate decision tree. It's not difficult. Moreover, it is easy to understand decision tree because it's just like a sentence reading.
Okay. Are we using map value also?
Yes, map value is very rare used. We can achieve the same thing using the decision table. So map will be useful if you want to just return one value based on one column. So one value, one return. You can achieve the same thing using decision table. Okay, what they are doing, they take our account type and return one value. Same thing they will do, but they won't accept more than 2 columns. But here decision table, we can use 1 column, we can use 2 columns, any columns we can use here, but up to maximum of 5. That is, 5, even 5 is also I didn't see, but just a guideline they will give.
But a decision tree in the sense, so most of the if else conditions we have to build logic and need to return the values.
Decision tree, or you're saying? Yeah,
we have to write multiple if conditions.
Yes,
and,
yes.
So as per the business logic, we're supposed to return the values.
Yes, there you can go for any level of complexity, because that is if else condition. You can be anybody can understand if else structure, so you can go there.
Okay, both scenarios will return the multi values or only single value.
Only single value, but you can set the values to multiple results. Multiple properties that we will see in the actual system. Here, we're just returning the value. We are not setting the values to a property. You can also set the values to a property. At the time, I can set it, but multiple values also can be returned. But we will see that one how we can do that. First, I will show you that interest rates. In this use case, we don't have much. So what I will do is, here in the temporary case, I will create that one. It will be easy. Session table. I'll create one more property called account type. Account type is required for me.
Can't we take our case? This is temporary case instead of temporary case.
I will show you that one as well, but there we have only one condition: is warranty expired or not? We don't have multiple values. So here I'm taking this one, and then once I create it, I will go there. I will show you that. This is, let's say, interest rates. What's happening here? Okay, that is fine. INT interest rates. So if you see the structure here, this is the conditions you can have. This is the return. If you need to read like this, if account, this is the account type. And you can see in the toolbar, you can see here, this will be first set will be useful to add the rows. Add the rows means to add the conditions, I can say, like this. The both are useful to add the rows, it will be useful to delete the rows. And this will be useful to add the columns. To add the conditions, this will be useful. I mean, this will be useful. You cannot remember column, system will stop you again. Once you can delete. Like you can delete this one. Now, let's say this will be useful if you want to write, if you want to return LIC if else AR conditions, like if the account type is savings, let's say R, I'm saying R current account. So if the output is same for multiple conditions, you can use this one. So here you read like this: if account type is current or if account type is savings, my output is same. So in this scenario, if the output is if the return value is same for multiple values, then you can use this R notation. Okay, and if you don't need this, you can ignore this. So if the savings account, else if current account, current, then 8 and then 6, let's say, if otherwise 6. Here I'm just returning the values, but if you want to set the values to some property, so generally what people do, I mean most of the people don't know that we can set the values directly in the decision table. What people will do is they will call the decision table, and once the output is coming, they will set it to some property. Based on the output, they will set it to some property. But here you can set to some property as well. Let's say, let me create one more property. So dt set property.
Subhash, one question.
Okay.
So just now, as we discussed in our theory topic, can we add one more column condition also? Like, so you said is a kind of a saving account and is a gold customer or silver customer kind of thing.
Let me create the property. Customer type is gold. Make a customer type is silver. I want to give like something like this. So if you want to add one more condition, you can add just one more row. Okay. So here actually,
if you want to check the saving account gold or silver, then we have to add one more row.
One more you need to add. That's what I'm saying. Here you need to do permutations, combinations.
Got it.
Silver.
But the R conditions, as you said, we can split the particular cell and we can add it.
Yes.
Got it.
But here I do that. So that way it is very difficult to maintain.
How could you split the cell? You said something, but I was not able to catch up.
This button is there. Just select the row and select the particular cell and click it. Any number of.
Got it. That means either of them can kind of condition will work out. Okay.
And here I am hard coding the values. I mean here I am just hard coding the savings and something like that, right? But basically you can also use expressions. You can use expressions. You can use property references as well. It's not like just values. If you're storing these values in some other property, you can use that property type as well here. So you can use any of this, and you can use expression builder. So let's say you are doing some kind of salary into 100. So you can do some expressions here, and the expression will be taken as a condition value. Okay, but here I am hard coding the values, so I am entering something here. So 8 also 9, so let's say 6. And now if you want to set some properties based on these conditions, you can also set the properties by using, you can see this symbol, you can click on this will be useful to set the property. I want to set the properties based on the DT set, let's say. No, it's not turning. Let me close it and let me open it again. So here I want to set the output to this property. So here what I am saying, here I am just setting the value. At the same time, I can set the value to a property. So let's say if the output is this one, then I want to set 100. Let's say it is 200. This is 300. This is 50. What generally people will do is, based on this output in the logic, in the activity or somewhere, they will set the values based on this output once they call it. But directly in the decision table itself, we have that provision. You can set the values to a property. So once you set like this, you can also do unit testing. You can go to actions and you can run it, and you can check whether your logic is correct, working as expected. So account type, if you give like current, run again, see account type is coming, but it's not asking. Oh, sorry, I selected both our account types. This is customer type, right? Okay, it's not opening sometimes. Here are two inputs, account type and customer type. To ask for two inputs. Account type is current. Run again. Customer type is gold. Is there current account gold? Current gold is not there. Let's say first I will give gold. This condition is not there, so it will go for otherwise always. So you will get 6 and then 50. You can see written value is 6, DT value is 50. And then if you give different values, let's say current silver, so still current silver is there. So you should return 8 and then 200. Run and say 8, 200. That means that our logic is working fine. This kind of unit testing you can do here. So now you can call this in the flow, in the decision shape, and then so how many outputs are there, that many paths you can create. So here I have 7, 8, 9. In the 7 path, if you want to do some action, you can go there. If 8 path, if you want to go some other. So how many returns you have here, that many paths you can create in the decision shape. If you are calling only, if you want to use this in the decision in the flow diagram. Otherwise, you can directly, if you are using it for normal logic purpose, then directly call it in the activity and you can execute it. So if you want to delegate this, the same thing. How can you do? And before delegation, so we must do the delegation, then we will see. So I want to delegate the decision table, so you can go to actions, you can see a delegate option is there. This delegate option, you need to mention, so to which access group you want to, access group nothing but it actually contains operators who have access to that application and role. So generally we create separate access group for business users to whom I want to delegate the rules, I will give that access group here. So here now I am giving administrators, and then I am giving the label like interest rates, and you can give description. Here you can manage interest rates, something like some description I am giving. Delegate. So once a developer delegates like this, once they log in their portal, let's say manager portal I am going, here they can see one more option called configuration. This configuration option won't come by default for all the users. To whom I delegated, for those people. So here I delegated to administrator. That is why only for administrator this is coming. If you log in with other users, this won't come. If you click on the configuration, it will display all the delegated rules. You can see this is the end user portal. When the login, they can see this interest rates. You can see the edit button. Now you can edit anything. Now while editing, you want to keep, you don't want to give full permissions when the development is over. You will generally delegate it to the business users. While delegating, you don't want to give full users. What are those conditions? I want to allow the user to just update the values, but he cannot add the new conditions. That is my requirement. Based on the requirement, you can disable and enable. So I don't want to allow the user to add the new columns. I just want to update these values. I just want to give the business user to update these values. He cannot neither add the values nor add the columns. So in that case, we have a delegation options will be there here. So delegation options. Here by default everything will be enabled. So you can see everything is enabled here. So based on the requirement, once the development is over, before delegating, you need to check on this. So allowed to update row layout. Allowed to update row layout. That means that right now you are allowing to update the row layout. That means that you are allowing to add new conditions, something like this. Because of that one, you are adding it. If you don't want to, once the development is over, if you don't want the business user to add the new rows user, something like this, what I can do, uncheck this box so that business user also cannot do anything. So here you can see this is disabled. You cannot add new rows right now. If you go here also same thing will happen, and you evaporate again. You cannot add new rows. See, this is disabled. This is disabled. You cannot add it. In the same way, if you want to restrict the user to add the new columns, you can unflag this option. And then here now you can see this is also disabled. So based on our requirement, we need to choose what we need to allow and what we should not allow. Based on that, we need to on these delegation options. So allowed set to property change set. So this is the property set, and if you want to allow, you can allow, otherwise you can uncheck. So build expressions. So I said you can also use expressions, and I don't want to use the end user to use the expressions. So you can uncheck this one. Now after that you don't see that symbol. See, now the symbol is not coming now. And then if you don't want to return the values, if you don't want to return the values, then you can uncheck this one. So then when you uncheck this one, I think the return value is gone. Right? So based on our requirement, we need to choose whichever option, which is we need to uncheck, whichever option we need to check. That is called delegation.
What is the importance of evaluate all rows?
Yeah, this evaluate all rows is useful. This is not for delegation. So let's say here I am using the condition will evaluate like something like this. If this is true, and thus it won't go for next execution. It won't go for next, other execution. It will stop the execution here itself. If this is failed, it will go for next else if condition, and if this is true, the evaluation will stop here itself, and then the remaining conditions won't be checked. But when you go for evaluate all rows, you can see as the name indicates evaluate all rows. So irrespective of it is true or false, all the rows will be evaluated. When you check this box, everything will become when now. So you can see this is when, not if.
So
now
that means there is a return multiple values.
Yes, there is
Select
a chance of returning multiple values. So this will be useful in the case of, let's say, what is the use case? Let's say for the new students, I want to identify the courses. I want to identify the courses for the training. Based on some conditions, I want to identify. So there are different conditions. One is like account. If the account type, there may be some education type and the grade, education grade, or is there technology. So based on the technology, I want to give different different things. Let's say the if they are coming from what we call the student background is non-techie guy. So the training courses may be more. The student is from techie guy, the training courses may be less. It means that you are returning multiple values. I mean, each return some course name. Let's assume if the techie name technology type is something, we will give some course name as output. So at the end, you will get multiple values as output. Wherever this becomes true, then the output will come. So here execution won't stop here. So even if it is true or false, the evolution will be, the vendor will be evaluated. So if this is true, the output will be returned. If this is false, output won't be returned. It will go for next condition. So that is what is called evaluate all rows. If you want to evaluate all rows, you can go for this. And here, basically, you can use a page list if you want to store the values in the page list. So you can use the page list instead of setting the here values. You can use page list property. It's not there here. So you can use some page list property, and then you can use the append keyword. So if this is a page list, you can use something like this. Then in the page list you will be having properties, right? Let's say. So all the courses, if you're running all the courses here, all the courses will be stored in this property as a separate record. Okay, in that case you can use this one, but very rarely we will use this one. And one more thing, where we will use in the marketing scenarios, we will use this one, not in generic applications. In the decisioning applications, we will use this one. Let's say I want to give some offers to the customers. I want to offer some offers to the customer, but I have a lot of offers in my catalog, and I want to give the best offer for him. At the same time, I don't want to lose the profit. So I need to consider multiple parameters while giving the offer. So what I will do is I will give the weightage for each and every offer. The weightage will be calculated for each and every offer with certain parameters like what is the revenue, what is the profit, what is the customer type. Different parameters I will consider, and I will give the weightage here. So when the account type is, when the revenue is 100, and the customer type is something, so I want to give the weightage 10. Like that, I will different set of ranges, and I will give for that range I will give the weightage. And then for whichever the offer I will get the more weightage, I will give that offer to the customer. So during that logic we will use during weightage building for any things we will use this kind of evaluate all rows. Otherwise, in normal scenarios, we will get a less chance to use this one, evaluate all rows. Okay, that is
if you use evaluate all rows, can we build the expressions?
Yeah, anything is fine. This expression is just like a column, right? This is like a cell. You are just using some value here. You are saying this expression only? Or you are
declare expression. I am talking about, can we call declare expressions on?
Here, you cannot call declare expression in the decision table.
Okay.
But reverse is possible. So in the declare expressions, you can call decision table.
Okay, invocation is possible from the declare expression. You can call the decision. Okay, you're saying decision table cannot call the declare expressions, right?
Yes, directly you cannot call.
Or what you are able to build with this? Yes, is showing some option, right? Can we build any calculations? Can we build any calculations? Something?
Yeah, that's what you can build any calculations here. Let's say I want to check age is integer property. Let's say so age plus 5 I can use. So you can use some calculations, and you can use summation, multiplication, whatever you want to do, you can do here. And here I am using static because here I am using some constant values, but you can also use expressions. Now coming to our scenario, let me create one relation table in the. Let me open that same flow.
Subhash, any hierarchy is there saying that we have different explorer, like case explorer, data explorer, app explorer. So decision table should we are able to create only from the app explorer, or else such restrictions are there, or else can we build any rules from anywhere?
No, all the rules can be created from the App Explorer only. So the rules creation will be done by App Explorer. So these cases, only cases you can create here.
What about data? But data model, data pages,
Yes, data types you can create here, and data types only you can create here. Other roles you can go for App Explorer. So in the from the App Explorer also you can create it, but from here it's easy to manage. So we have direct options here. You have direct data type. You can do that one. From the App Explorer you can do anything whatever you want, but here we are giving different mechanisms. So from the App Explorer you can create the cases. Wherever you want to create the case, just go there, but you need to know the case type where it is available. Let's say it is available in data process. So you can see case type is available here. You need to know where it is and how to do that one. But in the same, you can achieve the same thing here. Just by adding, you have separate link is there. So you can, the management will become easier here. The maintenance will become very easier. Other than that, Apex is just a complete structure of your application. You can do all the things whatever you can do in other explorers.
Okay.
And here right now I want to use decision table. We have seen the fork and the Boolean expression yesterday. So now we will see decision table I am using. So is warranty expired? But for this scenario, decision table is not required. Obviously, it's very small expressions. Here I'm checking like is warranty expired. So if it is true, I want to return yes. If it is false, I don't know. So the only two conditions I have, so I can check only two conditions. And then I want to set the one property. Let's say, let me create one property here. DT set all of the properties there in the temp. I will save as that one to work layer.
Why do we require property?
Just to set the I want to show that one as well, to store the values. I want to set the property. I want to set some value to the property based on the conditions. Here I want to DT set property. So here, if it is true, I want to set 100. If it is false, I want to set 200. Or else, what you can do basically here is you can say, I want to increase the price by 100. Let's say that is my requirement. What you can do, you can use that one as well. It's not like DT set property. You can use any property here. So purchase product details dot price is there, right? So here what you can do, price is there, you can increase price plus 100. If this is yes, price plus 100. If this is no, price plus 200. You can do something like this. If it is warranty is expired, I want to increase the price by 100. If the warranty is not expired, I want to increase the price by 200. Let's say whether it is working fine or not. Saying error, price is only fine. Okay. I think we should use the full details again. So I get something like this. Now go back here. Decision table is done. Now if you remove this, now you can see if you go here, the result is there. Now you can see when do you want to do that? Decision table is warranty expired. Here I want to use result. If you click down, you can see the result is coming. Whatever the result I am returning from the decision table, that is coming here. If the warranty is expired, yes, I want to go result. The warranty is expired, no. Then the result, select no. So if you have more result, the other result also will come here. If you have 3 results, that will also come here. You can add one more path and you can select the result. Here I have only 2 results. I am selecting 2 paths. Now what happens is when the warranty is not expired, okay, so you can also see the path. It will go this path as long as it will also set the property. It will also increase the value, like increase the value by 100. Let's verify that. We run the case. So the warranty is not expired. Let's say I'm selecting just this date, 1 year warranty is not expired. If the warranty is not expired, this go this path. In this path, I am setting the value by 200. It should go this path as well as set the value. Let's submit it. So if it's no means it's going for next step. So it's going for next step. It's not calling the rejection. So it's working fine. And let me check the clipboard whether the price is increased by 200 or not. So the actual price is 825, but let's check now. Product details. The price, wait. You can see now. Actual price is 825. Now you can see it is increased by 200. 825 plus 200 is 1025. That means that our logic is working fine. You can set the values to individual property in the decision table, or else you can set the value to you can use the expression builder to set the values to some other Here I am setting price dot 200. So this is working fine. So like this you can also build the expression something like this. Here I can set only one property. But if you want to set multiple properties, that is also there. You can go to results tab. Here you can see additional allowed results. You can select here. If the result is yes, what type of which properties you want to set here? You can set any number of properties. There is no limit here. But directly in the table tab, in this configuration, set only one property. If you want to set multiple properties, you have to define even when it is yes, how many properties you want to set. You can set here.
Subhash, I'm a bit confused here. We build a decision table. Okay, you set the property. The property you set it from, what is this? Product details means I think database, right? It is a database.
This is the page property.
Page property means it's kind of, okay, got it. Page object property, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you set this dot price plus 100 means, so how this will be reflected? Where we are calling this decision table and where we are passing the true yes.
The flow diagram.
From the flow diagram. Can you open and show me?
It's warranty expired.
Decision table name. Okay, but are we passing any parameter values here?
No, it will take the value from the clipboard, right? So here we are using some values. The decision table, what is input for us is warranty is expired is input.
So is right? It true or false? Is false has to come, right? That means based upon the flow action it will be decided. That connectors what you connected.
So this is flow. Let me clarify one thing. So is warranty expired is a property. So by this time already we are calculating this is warranty expired. This is a property and we are calculating the value.
Okay.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
So we are
The
using
property
some.
is coming from where? See, just we have defined the column name, right?
Pardon?
Did we define the column name, or else the so this ease warranty expired properties belongs to
Is there in
the
the
decision table?
clipboard?
Okay.
So we are calculating warranty is expired. Let me run the case once again. This is the warranty expired. You are checking right here. How this is calculated? This value is in for the decision table.
Mm-hmm.
So we are external, we are using this one. So I mean we did some logic to identify the expiration. So we are setting the value to this property. So this value is the input for this one. Okay. If this is true, returning yes. If this is false, I am returning no here. And then I am also setting some properties. And then if you here I can set only one property. So if you want to set multiple properties, if requirement is to test multiple properties, you can also set multiple properties in the decision table in the results section. Give the result name. If it is yes, how many properties you want to set, you can set one by one here. If it is no, add plus symbol, no here, and then set items one by one. Set the properties one by one. Here you can set multiple properties. Okay. There you can set only one property. Here you can set multiple properties.
If you set multiple properties, then multiple values will be returned.
Pardon? Multiple properties means multiple values only, right?
Okay.
I mean, if you just give the property, it doesn't make any sense. You need to give some value, obviously. Then where do you want to set the properties?
Okay.
When I say set means you are setting some values only.
Okay. That means the particular row, if it's matches to is warranty true, then so it will while we are returning now yes or no, right?
Yes.
So when it is yes, we are setting on property the product detail and price. So you are saying apart from that, so another
Yes.
For the rest of the columns also you can set the values. That's
yes. Other properties also you can set.
Is that correct? My understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
That is very rare. Setting values from the decision table is very rare, but we have that provision also for here. Okay, that is about decision table. So decision tree you can see tomorrow. Saturday is very straightforward again. We will see that it won't take much time, but we will see that tomorrow next class.
And I have one basic question, Subhash. This is a general question, but see, what are the challenges in Pega projects? Why I don't know, understand actually. Pega managers and Pega unit people are very afraid actually to take the pressures into account. The pressures in the sense, if suppose if I don't have any prior hands-on experience on Pega. Okay, so that case, that means they are not showing the interest. That means they are very afraid to take the new people. See, what are the challenges? It seems to be, kind of if you compare with Java, because of agile methodology. So the deadline, the timelines would be very tight. Or what is the funda?
Generally, freshers won't be. I mean, freshers also can be taken. It's not like something like that, but you should have some. I mean, at least CSS certified. So when you have CSS certified means you have some knowledge on Pega. If you don't have any certificate, if you don't have anything, people don't take it because they need to train it. So Pega training is very expensive. So I mean, if you go by official training, they will take nearly 3 to 4 lakhs per person.
No, we completed that CSS 2 certificates. Even also they are saying at least 3 months or 4 months experience would require to play the higher roles.
Definitely, because I mean, when you say CSSA completed, people don't believe that. So CSSA can be completed only after 2 years.
After experience of 2 years.
Yes. So even if you complete before 2 years, people get to know that how you completed that, and people, I mean, because Pega industry is very limited. So across world we have only 20K SSC candidates.
Only
So there is
20.
not much, and they can also get to know when you completed, when what type of courses you completed, everything they can get the details in a minute of time. So when you say something you don't have experience and you completed CSSA, nobody believe in those words. Nobody take
But
with that.
online access is there. I have a Pega Academy access. We completed all the lessons and
Good,
exercises.
but people don't expect that you completed trainings. So the CSSA can be completed. That is the recommendation. We have 2 years experience, then only you can go for SSA certification. So if you complete SSA certification, you need to claim you have 2 years experience.
Mm.
Otherwise, people don't believe in your words.
Mm. Okay. No, we have a BPM experience, no? So we are not going like with Java.
Yeah, keep that right. You can tell them. So, but we have other BPM maps, other BPM products experience, then that is also added advantage. No? If consider that.
Mm.
You are not getting calls.
I'm not looking for the cause actually, so I'm moving it as internal. My company only we are moving into another Pega project.
Okay.
So right now we don't have any engagements with SAP BPM. Don't have any new project, so that we are moving for the Pega.
Okay then. So yeah.
Okay, we'll
I think
discuss tomorrow. Rest of them.
yes,
Somebody has
I'm just,
joined, I think.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Yeah, hi Snehal. I think we can start the I'm starting the meeting once again. Just please join.
Oh yeah, sure.